He took close to $200 million from more than 1,500 ordinary people. He spent fewer than 2 years in a minimum security prison, and then he did something stranger than the fraud itself. He turned the whole scheme into a brand, sold the rights, and watched a movie star play him on screens all over the world. This is the story of a kid from Queens who built a machine for separating people from their money, got caught, informed on nearly everyone he knew, and walked away more famous than he had ever been. The uncomfortable part isn't that he got away with it, it's that we helped. Bayside, Queens, in the early 1960s. Jordan Belfort grew up middle class. Both of his parents were accountants. A household where money was counted carefully and never quite plentiful. From early on, he carried one trait that would matter more than any skill he ever picked up. He wanted more, and he was willing to talk his way toward it. He briefly flirted with a respectable path and even started toward dental school, then turned around almost immediately when it became obvious it would never make him rich fast enough. The thing he was actually good at had nothing to do with any particular product he could sell. A couple of early ventures collapsed under him, but each failure taught the same lesson. The product was interchangeable. The pitch was the asset. That instinct pulled him toward Wall Street, where he landed an entry-level seat at a legitimate firm and learned the rhythm of the trading floor, how brokers talked, how money moved, and above all, how it was sold. Then came October, 1987. Black Monday. The market fell off a cliff in a single day, and firms cut their junior brokers loose almost overnight. Belfort was one of them. Most people saw a door slam shut. He went looking for the corner of the market nobody respectable wanted to touch. He found penny stocks, tiny companies whose shares traded for cents, off the major exchanges, lightly watched and easy to move. To a serious broker, they were junk. To Belfort, they were a loophole. Where a blue-chip trade paid a thin commission, these could pay up to 50%. The same phone call, the same script. 10 times the reward. All it took was someone willing to keep talking until a stranger on the other end said yes. In 1989, he founded Stratton Oakmont with a partner named Danny Porish and ran it out of an office in Lake Success on Long Island. The name was built to sound old and trustworthy. The operation was the opposite. He didn't hire seasoned analysts. He hired people who were hungry and easy to mold, then drilled them in a high-pressure method designed to carry a prospect from hello to a wired payment in one unbroken line, never leaving room to say no. Underneath all the energy sat a simple, illegal engine, the pump and dump. Stratton would quietly buy up a large block of a thinly traded stock. Then the floor went to work. Dozens of brokers cold-calling ordinary investors, pushing the same stock with manufactured urgency and invented upside. The buying drove the price up. Once it peaked, Belfort and his insiders sold their own shares at the top. The price collapsed, and the people who had been talked into buying were left holding something close to worthless. The targets were never the wealthy. They were teachers, retirees, working people with a little saved. The investors Wall Street usually ignored. Stratton sold them a certainty it had no right to sell. At its height, the firm employed more than 1,000 brokers, burned through millions a month in overhead, and underwrote real, public offerings, including the stock market debut of the shoe company Steve Madden. To outsiders, it was fraud. Inside the building, it was simply how the place made money. The cash came in faster than anyone could reasonably spend, and Belfort tried anyway. Mansions, cars, a helicopter, a yacht. The culture of the firm ran on the same excess: punishing hours, enormous bonuses, and heavy drug use, especially Quaaludes, which stopped being a party and became an addiction. On paper, the firm looked unstoppable. In reality, almost none of its success rested on anything that was actually there. And reality was closing in. Regulators had been circling Stratton almost from the day it opened, and as complaints from burned investors stacked up, the money itself became something to hide. Belfort pushed funds offshore, through an account held under a relative's name in Britain and through Swiss bankers, to keep it out of reach. He called it protecting his assets. The law called it money laundering. His own life was coming apart at the same speed. The clearest sign came in June 1996 off the coast of Sardinia. Belfort owned a yacht named Nadine, a vessel built decades earlier for the designer Coco Chanel. Against his captain's direct warning, he insisted on sailing in dangerous weather. The sea broke over the deck, the boat took on water, and everyone aboard had to be pulled out by Italian Navy divers. The The yacht was lost. He survived. But the sense of invincibility he had been running on did not. By then, the case against him was taking shape. An FBI agent named Gregory Coleman had spent years quietly assembling it, collecting sales scripts, tracing wire transfers, measuring Belfort's spending against what he claimed to earn. Meanwhile, some of Belfort's own brokers, now facing charges of their own, had started to cooperate, wearing wires, handing over records. In December 1996, regulators expelled Stratton Oakmont and put it out of business. In 1999, Belfort was indicted for securities fraud and money laundering. Facing the possibility of serious prison time, Belfort did the one thing he'd always done best. He made a deal. He cooperated with the government and wore a wire against the very people he had built the firm with. Partners, friends, men who had been running his playbook since they were young. Many of them were convicted. Some served more time than he did. In 2003, he was sentenced to 4 years and served 22 months at a minimum security facility in California, where, among other things, he met the comedian Tommy Chong, who was serving a sentence of his own and pushed him to write the whole thing down. So he did. In 2007, he published a memoir that read less like a confession than a highlight reel. It sold. He wrote a sequel. And in 2013, it became a Martin Scorsese film starring Leonardo DiCaprio that grossed nearly $400 million and collected a stack of Oscar nominations. The man who had lied to thousands of investors was now being played, charismatically, for a global audience. He came out of it not as a cautionary footnote, but as a brand, a motivational speaker and sales trainer touring the world to teach people how to persuade. The people on the other side of the scheme got a very different ending. More than 1,500 investors lost roughly $200 million between them. The court ordered Belfort to repay about $110 million. Most of it has never been paid. Prosecutors have put the outstanding balance near $100 million, and only a small fraction has ever reached the victims, much of that from assets seized when he was arrested. By his own account, he is reformed. He has said plainly that he got greedy, that ambition is fine, but greed is not. Maybe that's true. But the more unsettling lesson isn't really about him. It's about the audience. We took a man who built a machine to rob ordinary people and turned him into a folk hero. Quotable, bankable, fun to watch. Somewhere inside that applause is the exact thing he sold over the phone for years. The quiet belief that the rules are for other people, and that getting rich forgives almost anything. He understood that belief better than anyone. That is precisely why it worked.